On today's show, the guys are talking with Jessica Lindl. She's the Global Head of Education for EduTechGuys. We've got an East Initiative update, information galore, all that and more. Up next on EduTechGuys. You're listening to the EduTechGuys, EduTechGuys.com. Hello and welcome to EduTechGuys Radio. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, I'm Jeff Madlow.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out what we've got going on today.
It's going to be an exciting show today.
I got to tell you, man, I did a little fanboying.
He's a little excited. He's percolating.
I was definitely percolating.
Hey, listen, take a listen to us on the web at www.edutechguys.com, or you can find us on social media. Heck, I say it every week. Just go out to Google, type in EduTechGuys, and you're going to find us. But if you want to get in touch with us, drop down to the web. On the bottom of the web page, you'll find a nice little ad there. You can click in and tell us what you think of the show, or just DM us on any of the social medias out there, the Instagrams, the tweeters, and all that kind of stuff.
The tweeters and the woofers.
Tweeters and the woofers. Yeah, really exciting show today with Unity 3D.
Oh, my gosh.
And talking about what they do globally for education. I did say in the interview that, you guys are building your own workforce and was corrected that, they're building a workforce for lots of people. But, still,
right.
If more companies got involved in that, they do build their own workforce, which is awesome. Help train those people and get them on board.
Yeah, it really is a good interview. And I know we're going to keep teasing it because we want you guys to, hang around. Don't fast forward. Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, now next week, if you're listening to the show this Friday, the next week we're at the East Initiative Conference.
Yeah, that'll be in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We just got back from ICE in Illinois, and we ran a show last week with esports. Yeah. And it's funny, we're kind of getting the trend here, esports, now Unity 3D, and, because everyone thinks about Unity and gaming, but they're across the board in a lot of other stuff. So that's pretty cool. And, but we'll be at East next week. And there are going to be some cool stuff there. Can't wait to see the projects the kids are coming up with. And
that's what I was just going to say. You want to talk about using various platforms for problem solving. The East Initiative that was, born and raised right here in Arkansas and has expanded its borders outward little by little over time. That's all those students do in that particular program is find problems that need to be solved in their community, in their area, and then they get to work and figure out how to solve them. I mean, it's amazing the things that we have seen just in our time of being in Arkansas education and seeing students coming through East from redesigning traffic patterns for some of the larger cities to some of the students. We used to have a thing called the Oil and Brine Museum down in Smackover, Arkansas, and they helped rework and rebrand that whole thing. So now it's the Museum of Natural Resources or something along those lines, which is it encompasses so much more than what that particular museum was trying to set out to do to start with. And they helped design, everything from some of the exhibits that are there to they helped with, again, the rebranding. It's amazing what these students come up with. We talked with a young girl last year who she herself was missing a thumb, I think it was, and she worked with her friends with the East program, and they all worked together to design a 3D printed thumb that she could use. Holy cow. It's amazing.
The East kids are, the East students are the ones that really are pushing forward. And, it makes me think Student Treasures has been turning students into published authors for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
They provide everything you need to turn your class into published authors for free. Publishing with Student Treasures is easy. Their free hands-on writing activity motivates your students to write and inspires them to learn by turning their writing and illustrations into a one-of-a-kind book. When you turn your students into published authors, you'll automatically receive a free teacher copy of your class's book, along with any copies ordered by parents. Plus, their online bookmaker, Scriptsy, is perfect for the technology-based learning and makes it easy for your students to create your class book online. So, don't take our word for it because, we'll talk about anything here, but we're going to tell you, Student Treasures is really the real deal. More than 440,000 teachers have turned over 14 million students into published authors with student treasures. You won't want to miss the looks on their faces when they see their work come to life in a professionally bound book. Learn more about publishing and turn your class into a proud authors at studenttreasures.com/techguys. Yeah, thanks to Student Treasures for coming to sponsor the show, and a little information there about them. And that's just it. They're helping turn kids into authors, and that's the whole key, is to get them out there and get them used to the world, and write and talk and speak.
Well, one of the things that I've talked about for years now, and I've talked about with teachers on a different platform until I discovered Student Treasures, but what's really cool is just in general, if you're in your classroom and you're working with your students and they are writing, and really doesn't have to be writing necessarily. I mean, it can be whatever. It can be if they're doing artwork, it can be what have you. But generally, we're talking about writing. So as they are writing, you can take their work, and maybe you have some kind of a contest or something, so they write throughout the year, and then the students vote on the best however many pieces that you want to showcase, and then you create a book that says, the best of Mr. Henderson's class 2019, and boom, there's a book. They're published. Of course, parents and grandparents, oh, that's my baby, that's my baby. But but really, to me, that is one of the greatest aspects of what we do now.
Yeah.
I mean, the world we live in, that it's so easy to take no matter what platform you use, that it's so easy to take student work and turn it into an actual published piece. I mean, I did it for my daughter not long ago. She had to write a story, and actually part of the assignment was to head over. Now they use lulu.com, but head over to a site that allows you to publish, and then they had to publish their work. And me being the dad that I am, I messed it up. And so the first copy was like totally hosed. I mean, it really was. So recently though, she had no idea. I went in, I did a little bit of editing, a little bit of cleanup, and then I published it as what is a more traditional formatted book, and gave it to her the other day. And she was pretty excited about it. Although she's also like her daddy. Once you've published something and now you've got it in your hand and you're reading through it, you're like, I need to fix this and this and this, and wait, that didn't make sense. And so, but I mean, it's such a cool way to give your students that, a way to be published.
Yeah.
And again, we want to thank Student Treasures. They're a sponsor, but there are all kinds of platforms that are out there available. So,
cool.
There's that.
I tell you what, we're going to take a listen to our interview with Jessica Lindl with Unity 3D Technologies, and we'll be right back after that. Hey, welcome back to the EduTech Guys. We're really glad to have our next guest on the show. We're going to let her tell us who she is and where she's from and all that kind of good stuff. So here we go.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. My name is Jessica Lindl. I'm the Global Head of Education for Unity Technologies. I've been in San Francisco here for over 20 years, originally from Wisconsin. So I feel like I can cover all parts of the country.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
About now, you're pretty glad you're in San Francisco.
That is true.
We just came back from Schaumburg,
Illinois,
not too far away from there, but little
cold.
Yep.
So tell us about the really exciting stuff that's going on right now with you guys.
Absolutely. Well, maybe I'll just start off by talking about what is Unity Technologies.
Yeah. For our listeners, let them know.
Okay, that sounds great. So Unity may be the company that you've probably heard the least about, that you may experience the most. Lots of people actually have Unity downloaded on their mobile phones without necessarily realizing it. Unity is a platform, a technology platform that our customers around the world use to create interactive, immersive experiences. So any video games you're playing, virtual reality, augmented reality, lots of that is created with Unity Technologies.
Yeah, lots of time. I'm a gamer. I have a YouTube channel, and that's one of my side gigs. And how many times that there's a game that fires up and there's the Unity logo right there. So yeah,
that's right.
I was pretty excited. Jeff's not into the gaming scene, so he was just like, "Well, I guess this is pretty cool." I'm like, "Dude, she's the head of the global education for Unity. You don't know what this means. This is awesome."
He's fanboying over here.
Yeah, I am fanboying over here.
Yeah. The next question I usually get after that is, wait, what does that even mean your job is then? After I explain Unity. So I'll just explain that at a top level. So my role is really about enabling opportunity for all of our customers. We start as young as even age 6 and 7 sometimes, but usually 13 when people start using Unity technologies. And then I manage the career paths and support the career paths of all of those learners all the way up to expert learners.
Oh, wow.
So I have sort of a unique perspective globally in that I can see around the world who starts using Unity, how we support them from a learning perspective, and how quickly really they can get to their own economic opportunity and success using Unity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I work for out here in Arkansas. They're called education cooperatives. A lot of places that are like ESAs or BOCES or, they got a gazillion names, but we work with different school districts within our area. And I was just telling Jeff earlier that like once, I can't remember if it's once a year or once a semester. And I know I should know the difference, but I mean, it's just, I can't remember how often it happens. It seems pretty frequent, but we actually bring in groups of students and they take over our lab and we bring in Unity instructors and they teach, they teach the students how to do stuff in Unity. So yeah, this like Jeff said, I'm really fanboying over here. So it's so cool. I mean, it really is. It's such a great experience for the students.
Excellent. That's exciting. Well, then you do know that the most important thing that we do is give everything away for free, as much as we can to students around the world. So the licensing's free, the learning materials are free, trying to really enable access and exposure to create opportunity.
Cool. Yeah, so you're building your own workforce. That's what you're doing.
Well, I unfortunately or fortunately, we're not just building our own workforce. We're building it for all of our customers too.
Yeah, for everybody. That's pretty awesome. That's a great fundamental part of your company that makes you really special.
So I'm curious, because you are global, you're the global head of education. What are some of the things that you're seeing globally and perhaps even specifically in certain regions with students learning Unity and what they're doing with Unity?
Yeah, great question. So we are in every country in the world, I think, except for North Korea. So I can see the incredible diversity of the learning approaches embedded in the cultures that we serve. But one thing that we've seen really consistent is, and the problem that we're trying to solve here with a new course that we launched called with USC, the game design course that we launched, is really around, we see a huge focus on the mechanics and the programming and learning to code. And we all know that really when we see great outcomes, it's because of the creativity. And so one thing we're trying to balance globally is making sure that young learners have the mechanics of being able to create something in Unity. But now more importantly, with a course we just recently launched with USC, the USC game design course, we're really focusing on the creativity and how do we up-level the creative approach of all of those Unity learners out there to create those breakthrough experiences that you love.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've mentioned it a couple of times. So I want to go ahead and let's explore that. I deal with K-12 students primarily. So the next extension of that is if they are so inclined to go on to the university level. And as you mentioned, you've got this new partnership with USC. So talk about that.
Sure, absolutely. So if you don't know, USC has the top game program in the world. And I'm sure you also know it's incredibly difficult to get into and also incredibly expensive.
Sure.
And so what we wanted to do and what USC wanted to do more importantly is really enable access to that course to the world.
Wow.
At a price point that's affordable, and that can really ensure that everyone has access to learning creativity from the top school in the world.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Well, so that means that geographically you're taking that out of the equation also, right? I mean, this is all web-based.
That's right, exactly. It's all web-based. It's ideal for K-12 students, the type of folks you guys serve. It's also ideal for educators, too, who are just trying to dabble and get their own head around how do I enable these skills for my students, as well as hobbyists and starting professionals, too. So it covers quite a few of our customer bases.
Yeah. So have you guys, has this started? Is it online now, or when's the big reveal?
We did do the big reveal. We launched it in January.
Okay.
We've had incredible feedback. I think it is validating that our users were really ready to take it to the next level. We have quite a few courses and certifications that focus on the fundamentals within Unity. And students who have kind of gotten through those fundamentals are now ready to figure out how do they take the image they have in their own head, whether it's an interactive game, whether it's also a different type of immersive experience. You're probably aware that we're in auto, medical, education itself, and creating immersive experiences. So how do you take that idea you have in your own head and bring it to life? That's what the course is really about, is your own vision.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and you bring up a really important point because, like I said, from my perspective, I generally see Unity in the gaming sector, but really, it's any of these immersive experiences. I'm glad you mentioned, automotive. You're talking biological sciences. Basically anywhere that you could augment your reality, for lack of a better description, that's where you can use the Unity platform to get in there. I know not long ago, I was at we had kind of a computer science demonstration, and there were some different stations there showing off different projects that students, college students at Southern Arkansas University, that they were making using Unity. And one of them had to do more with biology and anatomy. And it was really, doing this kind of fly-in, fly-through of the different anatomical systems and what have you. And it was all done in Unity. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's exciting to hear. I love that you were able to see it yourself and see that come to life. And what we find our students doing, to your point, all of them play video games, but what we find them creating are things that solve problems in the world. I mean, it really shows their desire to make a change and to make an impact too.
We were lucky enough this last week to be at ICE in Illinois for their Computer Educators Conference, and we met their state champion esports team. And those students were from Carl Sandburg High School. Wonderful, wonderful guys and girls. And what was really cool about it is that it wasn't about gaming. It was more about problem solving. And I think that's what's really interesting is how we've reached the point where we're creating problem solvers, because that's what gaming is about at its basic level. Is there's a problem, let's solve it. And we thought they were just sitting in front of consoles, but what they're actually doing is creating a whole new generational effect that's going to change everything that we do. And you guys seem to be on the forefront of that. So let me get to a question now. So my question is, how's the reception been? And do you see now you realize that organically it's going to grow leaps and bounds, and you're going to have to keep adding to it? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, so the reception has been really exciting for us. The numbers have been great, but I think more importantly, the stories that we're hearing from our users have been really exciting. I mean, one that stands out for me is a woman who's actually in Afghanistan, a young girl who is learning Unity in Afghanistan, which is pretty unbelievable that she's able to pull this off. And she was telling us that she's completed the courseware, the associate courseware and the associate certification, and is now halfway through the USC game design course. And she feels like she's just had this aha moment personally where she can now bring her vision to life. And just thinking about, a young girl in Afghanistan, very little access to education, but a vision that she can now bring to the world, from Afghanistan with the web-based offering and with the ability to publish anywhere in the world it's just incredibly exciting.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's what we always look for. And I think it's, Afghanistan, and she's accomplished this, that really gives a lot of fuel for the students here in the U.S. and in other countries to go, okay, I don't have it, who knows what's going on over there. So I have this opportunity here. I should take this opportunity, especially now that you guys are providing it so easily accessible to them.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
That's really cool. So, how many courses are we talking about? Like, really, give us a title. So, what's if I had to if I wanted to jump on board, what courses am I looking at?
So this course specifically, the USC game design course, it's an annual subscription. So you get access not just to the content, but a whole community of learners that learn with you and will give you peer feedback along the way.
Oh, cool.
In addition to that, you may be aware of this just given your experience in gaming, but the learning approach is very game centric in that when you're learning to design games, it's an apprenticeship type of model. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to bring that to life by bringing who we think are some of the greatest role models within the industry. So Will Armstrong, who is the lead programmer on Firewatch, Estefania Harbuck, who is a Disney Imagineer. I mean, what an amazing job to be an Imagineer. So exciting. Kelly Santiago, who produced Journey. And so I think there's just a really diverse group of role models out there that are telling you their stories from the trenches. Here's the mistakes I made. Here's where I failed. Here's what you can learn from that to be able to really bring that game design course to life.
Well, and I think it's so great that you bring these folks in that have such diverse backgrounds, because at least as I'm thinking through this, you may have a student who's interested in coding, or maybe they're not at all interested in the coding side, but they're interested in the game design side. And by letting folks, giving them that exposure to all these different potential avenues of what they might be able to do in game design is, I think that is a major difference than a lot of the computer science, air quotes, courses that I've generally seen offered by different universities, right? Because a lot of times, and this is one of the things that we try to tell students, a lot of times when students are thinking coding or they're thinking, game design, they're thinking of the game itself. There's so much more to it than that. You have the artwork, you have the music, you have the voice acting, you have the direction, you have all the other stuff that you may not necessarily be the person who's actually designing this particular level, but you may be the person who's producing the actors who are voicing that particular piece of the level.
That's right. That's such a good point. I mean, diversity is a huge focus for us in this. And when you bring the creative element to the table, it just brings in a much more diverse group of learners and creators as a result of that. So I think, that's a key point to be able to focus on for us.
Yeah. So do you guys expect any side effects, as we would say? I can see a lot of kids now that they get into coding and things, but they love the workflow experience, or learning Git or something along that line, so they can learn. And they take that somewhere else. They take it into the medical field, or they take it into engineering or something else. Do you guys expect any side effects, or are hoping for any side effects from this?
Well, you alluded to the side effects that we're hoping for earlier, is that when you look at the key skills that the workforce will demand in the next 10 to 15 years, mm-hmm. we can talk about VR and AR, which we cover, machine learning and AI, which we cover. But it's really problem solving is number one. Yeah. Problem solving and critical thinking and creative thinking are the top skills that'll be required 10 years from now. And the key side effect is, how do we make these young learners prepared for the jobs that they're going to be offered in 10 years, as opposed to continuing to create this workforce gap of low skill jobs and high skill jobs, and the same people who usually fill those. So, I mean, that's really the side effect we're targeting. Oh,
that's really cool. Yeah. I can't wait to see the resulting white papers and everything and sessions that come out of this as you guys help develop these programs, because for a classroom teacher across the board, that MindThink is going to help tremendously on, just teaching mathematics or teaching reading at a second grade level. Those things are going to be really powerful.
That's right. Yeah, we are nothing without the amazing teachers out there who are bringing this into the classrooms and telling us how to improve. So please download that free license we offer an education grant license to be able to get started.
Okay, let's talk about that. So if our listeners want to find out more and get involved and get on board, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, just go ahead and Google Unity Education, and you'll be able to see the access to the education grant license. Fill in your information, and within a day, you'll have access to our licenses for free. These are $1,500 licenses. You can ask for as many as you want for your school. And what comes with that is the educator toolkit, all the resources you need to get started and to start teaching it. And then also coming up this year, you alluded to this earlier, we're going to have lesson plans around how to teach mathematics with Unity, how to teach physics with Unity, how to teach digital storytelling with Unity. So you'll see more and more of that throughout the year.
Well, cool.
Oh, that is great. And so if folks want to follow along on social media, how do they follow Unity on social media?
It's basically just our handle. I think it's hashtag Unity3D. That's right.
Awesome. Unity
awesome.
3D everywhere. Just Google Unity 3D and you'll find them.
Yeah, educators love Twitter at this point.
That's right.
So, so they're going to follow. Jessica, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing this with our listeners. And we hope to have you back sometime after you guys have all the success and let us know how it's really going.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's been a great time.
Hey, I've been in education for more than 20 years, and I've seen the challenges that some students have to face every single day. I mean, whether it's going to school hungry or not being able to see a doctor when they're sick, these challenges make it hard for kids to focus on learning. Thankfully, Concordia University in Portland is leading the way with their 3 to PhD program. It helps to combat students' fears, freeing them to pursue their highest dreams. They're revolutionizing education by creating a holistic model that provides groceries, health care, even clothing to students right there on campus, helping them thrive and helping our communities strengthen and grow. Concordia's College of Education offers online and on-campus programs where students have the opportunity to learn about a more compassionate approach to education and to see how nurturing the whole student can lead to amazing things. To learn more about how you can help students conquer their monsters and achieve their highest dreams, visit cu-portland.edu/let's conquer. That's cu-portland.edu/LETSCONQUER. Nurture, educate, grow.
And even that's their hashtag nurture, educate, grow.
It is.
That's pretty cool. Hey, great show today. I learned a lot from Unity. Wow. I mean, and if you haven't got the opportunity, you need to go to their website. It's easy to find. It's unity.com/education. Right there, you can sign up for the student and educator. It's a $1,500 license. You can have as many as you want.
Yeah, we as I mentioned in the interview, we actually have students come into the co-op and take part in different classes, and that's what we got a whole class set, and it was that easy. I mean, just went in and said, hey, this is what we do. We work with students. You know, yeah, we're a little different because we're an education co-op, but once they understood that students were involved, they were like, oh yeah, no problem at all. And the license, I think, lasts a year, so you just renew every year. You just reach back out and say, hey, we need new licenses, and they were great as far as getting us set up. So it's been fantastic. Next week, remember, as this goes out anyway, next week, we will be in Hot Springs at the East Initiative Conference, and we'll be talking to students there and checking out all the different stuff they have going on at the East Initiative. So we'll get those, whatever that looks like when it's all said and done, we'll share that out with you guys, and it's going to be it's always great to go and see what students are actually doing in their classroom for their community. Solving problems.
Yeah.
They're vanilla icing it up a storm.
Up a storm. Hey, well, listen, it's been a great show. I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to the EduTech Guys, edutechguys.com.